Now let's take you through the starting order of the final four KZ2-Masters. On pole position, it's going to be Thierry de Jong. He'll be joined by Germany's Sven Heyer on the front row. Thierry Del Rey and William van der Guy will be alongside on row 2. Glenn van den Hoek and William de Waal will be on row 3. Row 4 is Anders Elkier and William Klooster, with Niels Koster and Mark Verhoeven rounding out the top 10. Davide Caruso and Bastien will be on row 6. Mick Bertram and Edgar Oosting will be on row 7. Benno Ridder and Gert van den Brink, row 8. René Kleven, Martin Peters, Anton Gidding, Roland Wirtz, Henk de Jong and Martin de Steeg will be rounding out the grid. So 2 front-fairing penalties post-race at the pre-final meant that Benno Ridder and Gert van den Brink received 5-second time penalties. Did have a nice little catch-up with Thierry de Jong earlier on. Reminisced about old times when he used to race in DD2, and then managed to do a number on Bruno dos Santos a few years ago, and I said the words, "He stole it off him like a thief in the middle of the night." Well, let's see what happens. Sven Heyer was very, very close to Thierry de Jong at the end of the pre-final until a lap or 2 left remaining. So once again, we've got 13 minutes plus an additional lap. I've also just had confirmation that our top 36 have grid for the senior final, which will see that close out the show, has now been officially confirmed. So 13 minutes plus 2 additional laps. And we'll find out who will be our first winner of the final, of a final in KZ2-Masters this year. Keep your eyes on the likes of Thierry Del Rey, won the Champions Winter Trophy and booked his place on the full season calendar for this year, along with his other many commitments in the, not just the Benelux region, but internationally. The drivers now start gridding up on the starting grid on the start-finish line. And once the green flag waves at the back end of the field, we'll be ready. Drivers blipping the throttles on these near 50 brake horsepower machines, keeping the engines warm, keeping them ready for the minute they hit the accelerator and launch off the line. We will be racing. Green flag waves at the back. They get themselves ready and steeled for battle. Red lights on the gantry. Lights out and away. We are off and going. And we've already had a drama at the back end of the field as Thierry de Jong leads the field into turns 1 and 2. But a big old moment at the back end of the field. Someone did not get away well. And it looked like there was a little bit of contact to boot. It's all single file pretty much at the moment, apart from just towards the bottom part of the top 10. As now they accelerate to full velocity down the Europalan. One driver going round the outside. We've had a couple of carts spin around, and one of which is the 194 and the 111. Anders Elkier and William Klooster. Elkier, who was demoted after qualifying for being underweight. Sven Heyer's lost out second. William van der Guy is now in second position. Heyer between van der Guy and Del Rey. Now Heyer goes up the inside of the Dutchman. So does Del Rey through turn 12. This is giving Thierry de Jong the break he needed. 9/10 of a second is the distance between first and second position after the opening lap. Glenn van den Hoek and Wesley de Waal are rounding out the top 6. Mark Verhoeven, Mick Bertram and Gert van den Brink ran at the top 9 with Niels Koster running at the top 10. So the leaders make, well, Thierry de Jong making his way through into turn 8. As Van der Kaaij was sideways trying to apply the power through into the entrance into turn 8. The back end stepped out to the left-hand side. He caught the slide and kept on going. Great kart control there. Also another former DD2 racer in his own right. So Anders Elkjær, William Klooster and Bas Steen were the drivers compromised by that turn 7 incident on lap 2. Sven Heijer now closing in on Thierry de Jong. The gap was nearly a second. It's now been halved. 5/10. Del Rey in third. Van der Kaaij, Van den Hoek, De Waal, Verhoeven, Bertrand Van den Brink and Ridder round out the top 10. Niels Costa down to 11th, head of Davide Caruso. Martin Peters, Edgar Oosting, Rennie Cleven round out the top 15. Elkjær now starting to resurge up the field. The Dane now up to 19th, head of William Klooster. So hopefully those drivers will be able to start making some moves up the order. And there is a delicate balance with brake, throttle, gear change, and steering. As I said earlier, the shift column lever, the shifter lever is on the on the right-hand side of the steering wheel. So they'll be turning into a corner, like say turn 2, banging down the gears whilst applying the brakes. It's one of the toughest tests in modern day karting. And that's why you see a lot of the Formula 1 drivers such as Leclerc, Verstappen, who also claimed a KZ world title back at PF International in 2013. We're going to see a move here. That was Van den Hoek on Van der Kaaij and got through at turn 7. Just behind them is Wesley de Waal in the 123. So this is the battle for 4th, 5th and 6th. And de Waal has just got through for 5th. Heijer now really starting to close on in. He's within a kart length of de Jong. Across the line they go to complete lap 4. 0.123 of a second was the gap between first and second. Thierry Del Rey now has a little bit of clean air between himself and Sven Heijer to start pushing. Van der Kaaij now down into 6th position after the opening 4 laps. Elkjær now up to 15th and climbing the order, so the Dane train is definitely in town. So Elkjær started in 7th, was up the order, and then all hell broke loose at turn 7. And he was involved in the crossfire. But de Jong holding on to the race lead, has led every single one of the 5 laps so far. We're 8 minutes and 20, plus an additional 2 laps still to go. Fastest lap of the race by de Jong, 53.986. Heijer was on a 54.132, so 0.269 was the differential between the pair in terms of distance. Del Rey is trying to close that gap. He's also put in a personal best. He was 7/1000ths slower than Sven Heijer in the lap time side of things. Some of the other drivers making their way through turn 7 and turn 8. Sven Heijer now is a little bit closer to Thierry de Jong into turn 10. You can just hear the sheer brutality as they go up the gearbox in these karts. Foot to the floor. And then there's the move for the race lead. Sven Heijer through at turn 2 on lap 7 on Thierry de Jong. And now de Jong has got to fight back. That's a perfect personification. If you're within, as I said, that 0.2 of a second window behind somebody else, and you're going to get the overspeed. You're going to get the slipstream, but you're also going to get the side draft. And that is incredibly, incredibly crucial around this circuit. The 2 main overtaking opportunities you can use are down into turns 1 and 2 and down into turn 7. And that's when you picked up a lot of velocity. You've accelerated. You've gathered speed and momentum. Now, de Jong won't have... The thing is, de Jong's already won a race. The thing is now, You know, you say that a driver won't have so much pressure because they're not leading. The person that's leading is the one that's going to be sort of looking everywhere, like saying, okay, where's the cart behind me? Are they catching? Am I going to have to start defending shortly? Well, when we get to the last minute, plus 2 additional laps on the timer, which will probably give us maybe 4 laps, give or take, depending on when they cross the line. That will also depend on who is going to go for broke. You know, see if you can make an opportunity, not present itself, but see if there's an opportunity that you can take advantage of. And if that's by an uncharacteristic, unforced error by the person in front of you, so be it. If it's through hard work, being consistent on your lap times, that is what is also crucial. Mick Bertram now up 6 positions to 7th, has got past Mark Verhoeven for P7. Gert van den Brink and Niels Costa round out the top 10 with Benno Ridder up 4 places to 11th. Martin Peters up 6 places to 12th. Edgar Oosting, Anders Elkier and David de Crusoe round out the top 15. Anton Gidding, René Cleven, Roland Weerts, Bastien, William Klooster, Henk de Jong and Martin Versteeg now also are all on the same lap. 33.2 seconds covers all 22 drivers, so no rate of attrition, no significant incidents to the point where someone has had to retire the kart. And also, the biggest thing is that you need points on the board early doors in this championship. It might be an 8-round calendar, but you've got to fight for every single point that you want to gain. So if you're wanting to lead the way in the championship and you want to get on the best foot forward possible, you'll want to get maximum points in both the respective races. You know, you've got all the hard work that leads up to it in terms of qualifying, and then, you know, also the training, all the practice sessions that you've done over the course of the weekend. That's another point that I think a lot of people will say, well, yeah, well, if you're the fastest guy on the day, then that's great. Yeah, but you work hard to get to that point. You put in the wheel time, you put in the track time out on the circuit. You know, you make sure that you're well rested, well hydrated, and yeah, in good physical condition. Benno Ridder now drops down a position. So does Roland Weerts, as there goes the 111 of William Klooster trying to get through on Bastien. And that's Roland Weerts. That's the teammate of Sven Heyer from Kartsport, from the crew running the LGK chassis. 10 minutes down, 3 to go, plus 2 laps. And things are starting to spread out between drivers. It's incredibly physical to drive one of these cars. I haven't done so personally, but I know friends who do race with KZ2, and they went, it's not easy. You've got so much to think about. And look at what we're seeing here. You've got the 117 of Gert van den Brink being followed by Niels Costa, along with the likes of Oosting, Ridder, Elkier, right at the back end of that train, as they make their way through turn 6 and onto the Europlan. You've got Martin Peters and Davide Caruso not too far behind this this quintet as they make their way out of turn number 9. Also, one of the other things that you've got to be very, very careful about, there's a lot of horsepower going through the back axle, and you don't want to hit the loud pedal too early. And there's going to be an opportunity for someone to make a move, and someone has made a move. And that was the 194. Good job there by Anders Elkier, running on the Maranello chassis. So, getting past Oosting on the Sodi kart. Thierry de Jong is running very level with Sven Heyer on the lap times. But Heyer just has that additional little bit extra tenth here or there that can make all the difference in the gap between Sven Heyer and Thierry de Jong now has stretched to just a fraction over a second. A further nearly 2 seconds back is Thierry Del Rey. And we are going to see some drivers possibly looking for a move up the inside. That was the 122 of Niels Costa looking to try and get a move on Gert van den Brink, but now has got Elkier and Oosting just behind. Costa not, oh well, I think that was Elkier just going up the inside. That's 10th place for the day, and he has got through. He's scraped through by the stickers on his side pod. Made it work, so good job there. So 3 more laps to go. Our race leader has already crossed the line, and so has the top 6 with William van der Kay. Rounding out the top 6 in the 104, 8.6 seconds behind our race leader as we head on to, we're now on to lap 15 out of 17. So the timer has now officially expired in the KZ2-Masters final. So we are on to the penultimate lap, lap 16 out of 17. New fastest lap of the race, 53.692 for Sven Heyer. And still at this point, there are drivers still squabbling. Elkier gets through on the 117 of Van den Brink and won't have enough time to catch the driver in front, Mark Verhoeven, who is quite a bit more up the road, 2.1 seconds to be precise. So on that aspect, it's a case of just making the best of a bad situation. You just try and get yourself up the order as quickly as possible. Try and keep the laps consistent. Don't make any mistakes. And also, the other thing that we keep on forgetting, enjoy it. Enjoy the challenge. Final lap underway for KZ2 and KZ2-Masters. And there is your race leader, Germany's Sven Heyer in the 125. Out of turn 6. Looks over the right shoulder to see where Thierry de Jong is. And knows they won't trouble him for the race lead. Through into turn 8. And 4 more corners to go after this one. Now it's the left-hander here at turn 9. And then the short shoot up to the right-hand sweeper here at 10. For the left at 11. Thierry de Jong might have picked up the win in the pre-final. He's going to have to settle for second. Because out of the final corner, taking the checkered flag, from Germany, it's the 125. Sven Heyer picks up the win in the final and is absolutely ecstatic. And even spins even does a good old spin. I don't know what happened. Well, he was very, very lucky that he didn't have a problem. Because well, that's one way to celebrate, Sven. And he said, "Yep, it's gone, it's done." Just goes to show that one move like that, and then all of a sudden, whoops. Yeah, and he's just singing to the marshals saying, "Yep, it's dead." He's probably having a little chuckle. There you go, shake the head, chuckling. That's the great side of some of the team here from Chrono Karting. But yeah, just the way he's celebrated and he's happy. He's over the moon. He's got P1 in the final. There you go. Sven Heyer celebrates in style and picks up the win. Even with the kaput cast at the end of it. Thierry de Jong takes second. Thierry Del Rey rounds out the top 3. Glenn van den Hoek, Wesley de Waal round out the top 5 ahead of William van der Kay with Mick Bertram, Mark Verhoeven Anders Elkier coming back to finish 9th ahead of Edgar Oosting. Gert van den Brink, Niels Costa, Benno Ridder, Martin Peters, Davide Caruso, Bas Steen, William Klooster, Anton Gidding, and Roland Weerts, and René Cleven rounding out the top 20. Rounding out the field, Henk de Jong and Martin Versteeg. And that is KZ2 Masters, the final, done and dusted for round 1.